Alrighty, well, hello and welcome everyone to Transform Security with Hirsch Cloud, Simplified, Scalable, and Secure webinar. We're excited to have you here today. Today, Hayden Grant and Steve Lewis will be sharing a few company updates, talking about Cirrus cloud-based access control, as well as Primus SMB access control. We'll then take a look at Cirrus versus Primus and when to use each system. At the end, we'll open it up for a Q&A session, so please feel free to drop any questions you may have into the Q&A chat. With that, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Hayden.
Yeah, thanks, McKenna. So we can go to our next slide, please. So just a quick reminder that Hirsch is now Hirsch. We're no longer Identiv. The mission stays the same. We've still been here for 44 years in the same industry. So lots of expertise. We're all over the globe. We're still focused on that holistic security experience from the edge to the core, the curb to the cubicle, whatever you would like to say there, but making sure that what we produce is human-centric, so it's easy to use, it's simple, it's scalable, and ready to deploy for you when you need it. Next slide, please. We're still maintaining our physical security and identity sides. We still have our physical access control, video, and credentials, and then our smart card readers and security keys, that identity management side as well. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to us and we can break down each side of the company a little bit more and get you in contact with the right people who can answer those questions for you. Next slide, please. So to start, we'll break down the top 5 reasons to choose access control as a service. So hopefully we'll be able to explain a little bit more about what access control as a service is. And then throughout this presentation, we'll give you more insights into Cirrus and Primus and how they fit into that access control as a service platform. So first, access control as a service is that subscription-based software as a service with on-site access control devices. So what you're familiar with there, but the big thing is that we will actually help manage that system for you. So we'll manage those updates. We'll manage anything that needs to happen there. We can contact you, work with you or your end user, and I'll explain a little bit more about that once we get into Cirrus, and then Steve will handle that on the Primus side as well. So it's pay as you go. It's that subscription model, so you're not having to pay everything up front. No massive barrier to entry. It's very simple, very easy to get started with that, and we'll break that down a little bit more in the future as well. And as I mentioned, that less upfront costs. So all of your data is stored on those remote servers through our AWS instances, so you're not having to worry about installing a server on site and investing in that. We are handling that and managing it for you. Everything is managed in a intuitive browser-based system, so you're able to access it remotely. You don't have to have something installed on site. Again, it's all cloud-based and you can manage it remotely there. And with that remote access, you can grant access to specific people, so you don't have to worry about who's gaining access to a workstation. You can give them direct access through a browser anywhere in the world 24/7, as long as they have the right roles and internet access. Next slide, please. So we'll start with Velocity Cirrus. So you can control, manage, maintain, and update your system with fast, simple to navigate web user interface. Cirrus will take over your existing Hirsch hardware or use that existing Hirsch hardware. So I'll break that down in just a little bit, what specific hardware you're able to access. Next slide, please. So again, just a few features as we're going into Cirrus and breaking it down and explaining a little bit more. So it is that cloud-based integrated software platform, and it is managed in Hirsch's secure AWS environment. So it's secure, government-grade security. You're not going to have to worry about anything getting taken over, anything understood there. Another thing there is you have your access and security operations from one single interface. So you have that is remote access, remotely accessible. And then we have anything from single high security rooms to multi-building, multi-location campuses. So similar to Velocity, you're able to have that small system and scale it up. It can grow with you, with your customer, however you need that to scale. We're able to support that system with Cirrus. You can control your gates, your doors, turnstiles, elevators, access control in general, but then we also have the IDS support as well, and you can do that all through Cirrus. You can monitor users as they move around the facility. With your Who's Inside feature, we can prevent unwanted access by who gets access when and where, or who does not get access when and where. You can maintain your compliance by tracking who is in the web client, who is going where they're clicking, what they're saving, what they're doing. So you can make sure you're maintaining a robust audit trail throughout your entire operation on this site. Next slide, please. So some benefits of the Cirrus system. As I mentioned previously, the system is managed and updated by Hirsch with no operation loss on site when those updates occur. So what I mean by that is, say we've released Velocity 3.9, our next version of Velocity, and you want to update to that on your Cirrus system. Well, our person who manages that, or our team who manages that, will reach out to you and say, hey, we've got a new update available. Would you like to update your system? If you say yes, we'll schedule that with you, coordinate, and make sure we submit that update and push that update at a time that works for you. So as an integrator, I don't have to worry about calling and managing and scheduling and rolling a truck to make sure those updates happen at the exact same time. I can actually just have Hirsch manage that for you. So we'll have somebody reach out and run that process. So as I kind of started at, less truck rolls. So you won't have to say, hey, I've got to get somebody onto this site for a 30-minute quick update. Now Hirsch can manage that for you. Something that we had discussed a little bit previously is that less hardware or server costs on site. So you don't have to have a server on your site. You don't have to stand up that hardware and have that initial investment to make sure you have something that can support a Velocity system. We'll manage that remotely through our AWS instance to help you simplify and lower your initial costs and your barrier to entry. We'll provide a simple upgrade path for existing end users. So I'll break that down as far as the hardware goes in just a little bit. Say you have an end user who is looking for an upgrade but doesn't quite want to invest in a brand new system or a lot more hardware, and they've got Velocity existing. Great. All you have to do is use that existing hardware, make sure they're on the most up-to-date version of your CCM and SNP3, and then you can pull them into the Cirrus instance. So they can have remote access to their hardware. They can have this brand new interface that's modern, easy to use, simple for them, and still have all the features that they're looking for as far as their system management, their enrollment manager, and everything along those lines. It's an opportunity to generate RMR, so you can get that recurring monthly revenue with a new system that you're able to provide these existing customers. And then you're going to be able to maintain the security of Velocity as you know it, but simplify the operation, simplify the user face, simplify the updates, all these things that we've discussed for you with that government grade, secure connectivity, and one single interface that's all web-based, all remotely accessible. Next slide, please, McKenna. So some Cirrus features that we'll walk through. So you'll see a lot that you're familiar with from Velocity. So you have that government grade security that we've discussed, but then your device control, status viewer, you're still going to have access to be able to program and manage all of your hardware just through the Cirrus client there. But then with the alarm viewer, we have a couple of different things that are new in Velocity 3.9, which will be coming soon with single click actions. So instead of having to have multiple clicks to acknowledge an alarm and clear an alarm or to add alarm notes or anything along those lines, all you need to do is just click one single button. We've got some videos that'll show that in just a little bit with what that looks like in our newest version of Velocity that'll really help operators with simpler, easier to use system management. Still have your event viewer. You can manage those events in the system as they occur. So you have your enrollment manager where you can manage individuals, groups, credentials, and you can enroll there. We also have FICAM enrollment, which we do have a video of, which you can show how that process works and walking through that process. Advanced reporting, so you can still run reports and manage system there. We have your customized threat levels that you're familiar with, and then your Who's Inside tool where you can see who is in specific areas of your system, when they're there, when they've left, and you can track them and monitor them as they're going through your site. Photo call-up that you're familiar with. We have up to 10 doors where you can monitor who's getting access. So you swipe, get access granted. It'll show, hey, there's a green outline on this credential. This person was given access. Then you'll also get a red outline that will say, hey, they did not get access here. And then new with Velocity 3.9 as well is Velocity Vision integration. So what you can do is if you have Velocity Vision, you have that set up on the web as well, you can then click open a URL within the Cirrus client, and it'll actually open up your Velocity Vision system. That's another thing that we'll show in just a little bit in some of the videos that I have prepared. Next slide, please. So sample architecture. I know this is very simple, very stripped down, but this is the simplest way that we could put it. We do have more in-depth diagrams that will actually walk through what specific ports need to be opened, how to make sure your network is configured correctly to allow this to work. So if you have any questions that are more in-depth about that, we can supply you with that information. Just let us know and we can get you what you need there. But simply here, you have your controller and you have your access control doors on site. Those communicate to our Hirsch AWS environment. And then from there, the Cirrus web client is able to access the AWS environment through a URL and you're able to manage that hardware on site remotely. Very simple, very easy. If you have any questions about that, feel free to let us know and we'll get you that correct diagram or the more built out technical diagram with some more information. So next slide, please. So hardware compatibility. As I mentioned earlier, if you have that legacy hardware, such as your M2, your M8, your M16, we are able to take that over and use that within Cirrus if you have the latest CCM and SNP3 versions. We also have access to the MX1, the MX1ME, the MX2, 4, and 8. So you're able to control the systems there with that existing hardware as well. And I see a question come up, is there any lag using the AWS? As long as your network connectivity is up to speed there, you're able to access and manage the system instantly. You can see your events come through your controllers instantaneously as well. So it's going to depend on your network speed, but you shouldn't see any lag or any delays there. Next slide, please. So now we'll see some videos. We do have our FICAM enrollment. So now you can see as we're walking through this, we have our enrollment reader. So I hit read card, I just enter my PIN, and I'm walking through this process to enroll with the PIV reader that is available within the Cirrus client. And now we have the read successful. It'll populate and show me everything with the credential as we're walking through this process. And card validation complete. You can see me scroll down, gives me all the credential data, and then I'm able to proceed with enrollment and actually fully enroll that credential. Next slide, please. Now the alarm viewer. So here, if you're familiar with Cirrus already, this will look a little bit different, but now you can see where I have the acknowledge, the clear, or the operator notes. So single click buttons. If I would like to at the top, I can just say, hey, acknowledge, click the acknowledge button. Or if I would like to hit the clear button, I can clear that alarm there. I'm also able to add an operator note or see the operator notes. If you can see on the bottom of the screen, we have the alarm instructions that'll populate. And now I click that button, I can add an operator note, follow the instructions, save those changes. So I've acknowledged that and added a note to that specific alarm. If you'd like a demo of this or anything along those lines, we do have the ability to do that as well. If you'd like more instructions or just a better insight into this specific feature, we can walk through and give you that as well. Next slide, please. And here's the Velocity Vision integration that I mentioned previously. So all I have to do is click on the little card that takes me to the Velocity Vision instance, put in my enrollment information or my login information, and now I have access to my camera system. So you can see here, this is our Santa Ana office, able to access our cameras. You can see our front door here. That's actually our back training door, but I'm able to access, see the alarms, see any of the events, see all of our Vision AI events here. So I've got a line crossing event, I'm able to acknowledge it. But again, we're able to see that and monitor that both Velocity through the Cirrus client and the Velocity Vision integration through the web as well. So as you can see, I'm just kind of walking through, looking at a couple of other things. We can see our cameras from there, and the recording has stopped. So we can hop over to our next slide, please. So here's some helpful tools. The great thing that we have here is we actually have a 90-day free trial of our Cirrus platform. So we can actually give you access to our demo environment. You can log in, access it for 90 days. We'll give you access to be able to enroll. You can program a controller. You can see the enrollment manager. You can see the alarm manager, event manager. You can go through and see specific features within the web client, or if you as an integrator have an end user that's interested that would like to just get a little bit more hands-on, you can submit through that 90-day free trial link. we can provide information, give them access, and allow them to go through that system there. We also have, if you have access to the partner portal, a Cirrus license calculator where you can put in your system information. So you can put in your number of doors, the number of years you would like that contract to be, and then our calculator will give you the amount of licenses that you'll need to purchase to go through that process and the cost. So this will actually be sent out. The hard copy of this slide deck will be sent out. So you can just click on those links that are embedded in the slide deck to where you'll have access to these tools. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your regional sales manager, contact us on our website, or feel free to reach out to me and we can make sure we get you to the right place and get you the right information. With that, I'll pass off to Steve to overview Primus.
Thank you, Hayden.
Of course.
Okay, McKenna, next slide. So the top 10 reasons to choose Primus. Primus is available as a on-prem, a cloud only, or a hybrid. In either case, whether it's any one of those three, it is a Linux-based operating system, which gives us a greater degree of security for operating system and removes the requirement for frequent updates. It is secure and always up to date using AES 256 and TLS encryption. So that whether it's communications between the server and the clients or the server and the field hardware, it uses secure communications. It is a lower cost per door, like Hayden mentioned in any ACAS. There isn't the need for any on-prem hardware, which allows people to kind of move from a capital expenditure to an operating expenditure. It is 100% browser-based, like Cirrus is, so it allows you to access from anywhere, from any device at any time. It is an open platform design, so we have a RESTful API where almost any integration can be completed using that RESTful API if some third-party product wants to interface to it. We do have some built-in powerful integrations, including Active Directory, the Velocity Vision video management system, ASA Obloys, Wi-Fi, and PoE locks. So those are some that are built in there that if they don't want to, use a RESTful API. It is very hardware light. So we have these IoT devices called encryption bridges that connect directly to Primus. And these devices basically take all the components that are at a door, such as the reader, the door monitoring, or request to exit, and basically puts them over TCP/IP communicating with Primus, the very small, light devices that can be distributed throughout the field. We do have a built-in calendar scheduler, which basically takes scheduling of door unlocks and makes it like scheduling meetings with your whatever you use for meeting scheduling. So it basically converts that into a very easy to use tool for setting up door unlocks. We'll take a look at that here in just a minute. It is access control as a service again. So Primus Cloud and Primus is the exact same application. So whether you're using one or the other or converting, as we'll look at here in a minute, it's the same exact solution. You'll have the same view, regardless of whether it's on-prem or ACAS or in a hybrid solution. It is mobile device friendly. So again, if you want to use a small device for viewing Primus Cloud, you can. It also, we have Primus Mobile, which we'll take a look at, which basically gives us location-based access for portals, and for administrators, it gives us the power of doing things like lockdowns directly from a mobile device. And it is a fault-tolerant solution, so every Primus instance includes hot standby auto failover and replication. So if there's sites that need critical infrastructure or have to have very high availability, then we can build that into a hybrid solution. Next slide. So again, Primus Cloud, as an ACAS, it is 24/7 open accessibility. It is in in Amazon Web Services managed by Hirsch, by the same team that manages a Cirrus solution. It gives you an interruption-free, and again, for your end users, it's where they don't have to worry about trying to manage on-site solutions with servers, with updates, with upgrades. All that's managed by Hirsch. It is safe and secure. We can help manage the individuals that originally configure or work with partners to set up individuals for management of the system. Again, it's worry-free updates that they don't have to worry about putting upgrades or if there's any patches that need to happen. All that is done in the background. And again, there's redundancy and failover, like I mentioned, so we can add a hybrid solution that in the very unusual event that the facility gets disconnected from the outside world, that they can have full command and control. Next slide. So we do have the Hirsch EG2. This is our newest controller. It is Primus and Primus Cloud ready. It can manage 2 doors over either Wiegand or OSDP, including OSDP version 2 secure channel. It does integrate seamlessly with existing IT infrastructure. It can be powered either with a 24 volts DC or PoE plus, so it can be a true edge device. Again, supports 2 readers, 3 outputs, and up to 9 inputs. It is UL listed and TAA compliant. So in the next slide, some of the core features within Primus and Primus Cloud. Again, it can be cloud only, on-prem, or a hybrid solution. Can set up email notifications through port trigger actions. There are maps that can be used for alarm monitoring. We can place cameras or access control doors directly on maps and do management of objects from there. It is unlimited schedules, access groups, and users. There is a built-in browser-based badging solution for creating badges. There is risk level where we can reverse unlock schedules and door access across the entire system with one single change. There is a snow day option, which allows for the doors to remain locked until the facility is occupied by an individual. There is, like I mentioned, the database replication for redundancy and hot standby auto failover, and some of the integrations with the ASA Abloy Wi-Fi and PoE locks, Active Directory, and Velocity Vision video management. On the right, there's an example where we have the Primus Cloud. It's connected to the World Wide Web, and then in this case, there's 3 separate sites. Site 1 and 3 are hybrids that have an on-site small quart-size cube appliance, and they can have encryption bridges or the EG2. They can monitor directly from those sites or from the Primus Cloud locally, or Site 2, which is 100% cloud-based, which again is accessing the Primus Cloud through the local browser. Next slide, McKenna. So this is the alarm management through a map where we can place objects such as cameras or controlled areas. We can view live and alarm video. We can have the swipe and show where you see the actual individuals entering the facility. You can manage doors from locks, lockdowns, temporary unlocks, alarm acknowledgement, alarm clearing, all from this one location. And this is, again, it's a browser-based solution, so you can have multiple instances open. There is the ability to have a pop-out window that could view video up to 16 different views or different numbers of cameras for views. That is completely separate if you want to run it on multiple monitors. In the next slide is a view of our calendar scheduler. And again, this is taking a meeting scheduling concept and bringing it to the scheduling of unlocks of controlled areas. So you can title these things, put in a start and end time, how often does it repeat, When does it happen? Is it a once a year, or is it repeat every single day? You can give it a description and custom description, so that when you put your cursor on these, you can see more details without actually opening it up. This is where you can set the risk level for each individual unlock series, pick one or multiple doors that it's going to control, and even give it a color. So if you want to use color coding for different types of facilities or different types of events, you can do so. So you can edit any one of these, or you can edit an occurrence just like you would setting up a meeting. Or you can add additional by just picking a date and time. There are views for a day, a week, a work week, a month, and even a year view. The next slide shows looking at a month's view. This gives you the concept of not just a schedule, but all of your schedules and how they interact with each other. We've seen many systems that over time they get schedules that are duplicating the exact same thing, stuck on top of each other because they don't get a big holistic view. But in this view, you can see if there's any holidays that are scheduled in there, any of the recurring instances or individual instances. It just gets you a larger view. And over on the left is a list of all of your individual doors. So if you want to look at every single schedule for every single door, you can, or if you want to filter it down to individual doors. Next slide, please. So I mentioned Primus Mobile. So the mobile device can be used to access Primus directly or Primus Cloud directly. But we also have Primus Mobile, which gives us the ability to manage who has access to individual doors. So in this case, you don't need a card or a fob or even a pen. It uses location-based. So it takes the location of the mobile device, sends that to Primus. If that individual has access, then that individual will be granted access. We also have the ability to use little Bluetooth beacons, which uses low energy Bluetooth. So when you're in the vicinity of these beacons, then you can request access. So if you don't want to use GPS, you can use these beacons for location-based access. You also, as administrators, we can give permissions for a user to be able to not only manage the access, but to do scheduling, look at the beacon instances, do lockdowns of doors. In the next slide are some of the views that we have for different openings. Next slide, please. So these are the login screens. You have access to controlled areas. You can manage one or more of those areas. You can issue lockdowns from here. You can schedule or modify schedules associated with doors. You can toggle the instances and view all the schedules. So this is all through Primus Mobile. Next slide, please. Like Hadden mentioned, we do have 90-day free trials for both Cirrus and Primus Cloud. You just go to hirschsecure.com and go into the cloud-based systems. You'll see there's a 90-day free trial. Just fill out a little bit of information, and then you can take these for a test drive. There is a license calculator for Primus Cloud, similar to what we have for Cirrus Cloud for our partners through the partner portal. And the next slide. So when trying to choose between Cirrus or Primus, we do offer both of these systems. If you have a system already installed, whether that's Velocity or Primus, then Cirrus obviously would be the best solution for managing Velocity hardware, Primus for Primus hardware, or if you want a hybrid solution, if you're looking for a FICAM approved system, then Cirrus is going to be your choice. Enterprise systems, Cirrus is going to be your choice. For small and medium-sized businesses, Primus might be a better solution, or if you need maps and graphical alarm management. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, I think I saw 2 questions come through. Let Let me see. Does the cloud systems provide distributed intelligence?
Yes, so I saw that question come through. I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or give me some more insight if my answer is incorrect, but you are able to control who gains access to which specific parts or different controllers or different sections of the system. So you're able to say these operators are only able to get access to the alarm manager. These operators are only able to get access to the velocity configuration, and you're able to distribute those different pieces and choose who gets access to when and where.
Alrighty. Next question. For a campus environment with hundreds of panels, I understand that global I/O, campus-wide lockdown, and velocity today requires SNP3 hardware. With Cirrus, is there a flexibility to achieve these functions in a mixed SNP2, SNP3 environment, or would a full SNP3 refresh across the board still be required?
So we have a couple of different options there. It'll depend on your system architecture. You can have the SNP2 downstream like you can with a regular velocity system. The big thing that you'll run into, again, like a normal velocity system, is just the speed of connectivity for your updates for your hardware. We do suggest to have the SNP3s across the board just so you can directly connect to each controller and have faster connection speeds. We can support the SNP2 downstream, but again, we recommend using SNP3s across the board.
Can the calendar scheduler be tied to specific credentials?
The calendar scheduler is for scheduling the unlock of a specific door. So it's not really associated with access to the door. It's if the door is actually in an unlocked state.
Next question. Using AWS, where is the data stored? Different countries?
So with that, it's currently stored in the US, but if there are needs, in Europe or any other location, we can access the stand-up instances in other locations, but everything is currently stored and managed within the US.
It looks like last question. I'm sorry, where's the next one?
I saw it disappeared, but it was
Yeah.
What cloud provider are you using? AWS, Amazon Web Services.
What does the actual migration process from Velocity to Cirrus look like? Specifically, will each panel require on-site firmware updates or resets, and what kind of resource paneling should a university anticipate?
Yeah, so it'll depend on what your current firmware is as well. So if you're significantly outdated, we can get you onto the correct versions there. But if you're on a more recent version, we can get you onto Cirrus. With that, it'll just depend on what versions you're on and what features you're looking for. Obviously, with our newer versions, you have more features, more accessibility, better user experience. So if you would like those features, we can make sure we get you onto that. Resource planning, we can walk through that with you as well, dependent on the size of your system, what your database migration looks like. Our professional services team and our sales engineers are more than capable of helping you kind of build out and structure what that should look like to make sure your site won't go through any massive issues, and just step by step help you manage that. And walking through from your database migration to upgrading your hardware to upgrading your velocity instance, and then actually going through and migrating fully to the cloud. We'll have a team there with you step by step to help you look at that. And if you would like more information just to figure out how you could go about that, we would be able to help you with that as well.
Looks like a few more came in, and we have one more in the Q&A chat. Is there a SDK for both systems? And then someone said GovCloud.
We'll let Steve handle the SDK on his side.
Yeah, so for Primus, it uses a RESTful API. So essentially anything that any command that you issue within Primus basically is a RESTful API command. So it's not really an SDK. It's a RESTful API, and we have sample commands through our RESTful API doc that's available on our public wiki site.
And on our side, yes, we do have an SDK available on Velocity. With Cirrus, it gets a little bit more restricted at this point. So it'll depend on what all you're looking for. And then the GovCloud answer, at this time, no, we are looking at FedRAMP availability, just exploring those specific solutions, and we'll hopefully have something to the market in the near future.
Looks like another one came in. Does a customer receive a dedicated server instance in AWS, or are multiple customers hosted on a single server for Cirrus?
I would have to confirm on that with our team. I believe we manage it just based on the actual speed of the connection, but I will make a note of that and I'll make sure I can get you a response on that, Mark, hopefully within the next 10, 15 minutes.
Looks like in the Q&A chat, struggling to understand the key differences between Cirrus and Primus and why one would choose one or the other. Can you provide a short comparison? And then the follow-up question to that is, does Cirrus support SSO, IDM, SCIM? Is revocation checking available?
Okay, so for the first question, I hope we answered that once we got to the when to use each system and upgrading with Velocity for using that Hirsch hardware, the MX hardware, the M series, and then Primus is for the specific small and medium business systems. If there are some other questions on that, feel free to let us know and we can answer those. What was that second question, McKenna?
Does Cirrus support SSO, IDM, SCIM? Is revocation checking available?
So on that with the SSO, not currently, but it is in our roadmap as part of our next couple of versions. We're actively working. Actually, right now, our engineering team is speccing and scoping and working on developing that. There are some workarounds where our professional services team could help you with that if you're interested in having that now. But native in the product, we're working on developing that now.
Is SSO available, and does the system integrate with Splunk for logging?
And so the previous answer will answer that as well with the SSO availability. We're working on developing that. Integration with Splunk, no native integration with Splunk there.
All right, I'm not seeing any more. I'll give it another 10 seconds. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat.
So on the answer for Mark, as far as who gets what access to what instance, so each dealer will have their own instance, or one integrator will have their own instance. Multiple customers will be on that, but our team actively monitors who or what the speeds look like. So if there are any issues or any slowdowns, we'll upgrade that instance and make sure the end users won't see any issues there.
It looks like question came in, revocation checking.
Yeah, so we showed that within the FICAM side. We are able to look at and see what certificates are active and what are available. With the FICAM enrollment, it does show us the specific credentials, the specific certificates there. And then, sorry, James, I think we missed that. Who supports the VPN? We do provide that through Duo. And actually, each time there's access granted to the actual instance of Velocity, the thick client, or in AWS, they'll have to dual authenticate with the Duo app to be able to gain access to the system.
What is the availability SLA?
So that'll depend on your system, and our professional services team or your RSM can help you walk through what that would look like and what exactly you would need as part of your SLA.
Don't think there's any more questions. So with that, thanks again for joining us today. We really appreciate you being here. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.